Hello? Hello, Missoula. How's Welcome, welcome. Thank you all for being here tonight. We've got an incredible program ahead, so let's get started. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Representative Tyson Running Wolf.
Okay. Everybody say okay.
Okay.
You're all Blackfoot now. I was talking to Sam earlier when I was kind of got to have a VIP treatment. I said, Sam, in the old ancient times, this must have been how our warriors felt when we were getting ready to go to war, our ancient warriors. Look at this crowd. We had music. We have support. Wow, impressive. I feel blessed to be going to war with Sam and endorsing him. Kasitsanamansanapoa means I'm glad to be here with everybody. As a proud member of the Blackfeet Nation, a third-generation wildland firefighter, a past FMO, a forester, and someone who has spent years in tribal and state politics fighting for our communities. I know what it means to stand up for the land and the people who give it life. My ancestors taught me a simple truth. Listen to this. You look out for the people who look out for the clan. You choose leadership and leaders who won't just talk about the hard work, but who live and model it every single day. That is why I'm standing here today to proudly endorse my friend, a true champion for our grassroots people and our working class and our clans, Sam Forstag for the U.S. House of Representatives. It's the first time I ever endorsed anybody in the history of my politics. Montana's first congressional district doesn't need another millionaire politician. Been there, done that. Who avoids us regular folks. I was in DC, they shut the doors on me, couldn't even get in there being a rep. They just, whatever. That ain't gonna work anymore. We don't need leaders who turn a blind eye as corporate landlords raise our rent or as cuts from the ultra wealthy devastate our federal public lands and the agencies that serve us. We need a fighter. Sam Forstag is a Missoula smoke jumper, is a man who literally jumps out a perfectly flying airplane. Have to be crazy to do that. That's why I stuck to the ground and hiked my butt up the hill. He went into our remote wildernesses to put out fires before they consumed our sacred resources and potentially our homes. He is a union leader who organized, our fellow workers when their livelihoods were under attack. He is maintaining a firefighter motto of holding the line. Hold the line. Sam understands the struggle of everyday Montanans because he's lived them. He knows what it's like to work 2 or 3 jobs just to buy groceries and to make the hustle happen. And he keeps a roof over his head while gas and houses prices are rising. Hard to do today. He doesn't just want to represent Montana. He is Montana. Sam's holding the line. In my time as a state legislature, I worked tirelessly to protect our natural resources, fund public services, and protect the rights of our tribal nations. But we cannot do this work alone. We need partners in Washington, D.C. who will fight just as hard for health care, affordable child care, and preservation of our pristine public lands. That's right. Sam has spent his off-season as a legislative strategist, working right alongside advocates to defend our civil liberties and public education. He has the grit of a firefighter and the political skill to actually get things done. We don't want a newbie. We want somebody that's been there in the mud doing it and done it. He's holding the line. My relatives, the primary is coming upon us soon on the 2nd, and the ballots are in your hands right now. If we want government that works for our working people, we have to send working person to Congress. How many times have we heard that, but we deny it? Let's stop relying on what we've been doing in the past. Getting millionaires to solve the problems that they don't even have a clue what we're going through. Let's vote for change and courage. It's our time to hold the line as a team and as the firefighter motto. We've got to hold that line, pick it back up. We never lose it, we just reestablish it. Let's vote for the grit. Let's send smoke jumper and union leader Sam Forstag to Washington, D.C. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yakima, try really hard. Well, thank you for the time. They cut me short. I now want to introduce Aaron Foley, Principal Officer of the Teamsters Union Local, #2 and President of Montana AFL-CIO. Thank you, and let's win this thing.
Good evening. Thank you for that introduction, Representative Running Wolf. Brothers and sisters, this election matters right now because what is on the line is not abstract. It is our wages, benefits, safety, dignity, and our voice. I am here to tell you plainly, if working people do not stand up in moments like this, somebody else will make the decision for us, and we will be forced to live with it. I believe we should leave things better than we found them. We do not have to repeat the same old mistakes, accept the same old excuses, or settle for the same old results. If there is a stronger way forward for working people, then that is the road we must take. We are tired of elected leaders not looking like us and not living our struggles. I am a 4th-generation union member, raised in a family of 6 on a teacher's salary. We learned how to work, how to sacrifice, and how to take care of each other. So when I speak about working people, I'm not reaching for talking points. I am speaking from the life that raised me and the movement that shaped me. I know what happens when people in power think working families should be quiet, grateful, and take whatever is handed down to them. No, that is not who we are. We fight for what is right. We stand together, and we hold the line. And when we move as one. That is why I am with Sam. Sam shows up, Sam listens, Sam respects working people. He has earned my support. Sam understands that accountability is not optional and fairness is not a favor. Sam knows if you ask working people for their trust, you better be ready to stand with them when the pressure hits. A lot of people want our vote, but not all of them want our voice. Sam does. And that's what sets Sam apart. Strength, clarity, guts. Sam does not back down from a fight. Sam does not hide behind polished words. Sam understands that a job should pay enough to live. A workplace should be safe, and a promise made to workers should be kept. That is real leadership. Here in Montana, we know better than to mistake talk for action. We know respect is earned. We know working people built this place, and we know working people deserve leaders who will fight like it. This is not the time to stay comfortable. This is the time to stand up, lock arms, and win something better. It is simple. Vote for Sam. Bring your coworkers, your families, friends. Bring everyone who is tired of being told to wait their turn. This is our time. This is our fight. And together, we are going to leave it better than we found it. And now, I am honored to introduce a good friend of mine, Jackie Helt, the Montana State Director for SEIU 775.
Thank you, Erin. Hello, Missoula. My name is Jackie Helt. I'm the State Director of SEIU 775, and I've been an Executive Board member of the Montana AFL-CIO since 1998. I'm also a proud Labor Democrat. I have spent my career fighting for working people in this state. We have fought in boardrooms, we have fought in the halls of capitals in Helena and in DC, and we have fought at bargaining tables, and yes, we have fought in the streets. And more than once, I've sat in rooms where some men thought the women at the table should be taking the notes and not leading the damn meeting. Well, Montana workers had other ideas, because labor doesn't care what you look like. Labor doesn't care where you come from. Labor cares whether you show up and whether you fight. And when things get hard, whether we stand together. Right now, working families are doing everything right. Working full-time, working overtime, working 2 jobs, working all the hours God sends, and still wondering, how do we afford groceries? How do we afford housing, health care, gas, for crying out loud? And how do we retire with dignity after a lifetime of work? Meanwhile, corporate profits soar, CEOs cash in, and too many politicians keep telling us to be patient. Well, we've got news for them. Working people have been patient long enough. At SEIU 775, we represent caregivers, home care workers, behavioral health workers, the people who help our seniors stay in their homes, the people who help Montanans with disabilities live with dignity, the people who show up when families are in crisis. Let me tell you something. If caregivers stop showing up, this whole damn system falls apart. That is labor, that is dignity, and that is Montana. And that is why SEIU was proud to be the first labor union to stand with and endorse Sam Forstag. Not just because he's running for Congress, but because he's already answered the call to serve. As a smoke jumper, when others run from danger, he jumps right into it, as you heard. And as a union leader representing federal smoke jumpers and firefighters, Sam fought for workers risking their lives, protecting our public lands and our communities. And when Elon's devastating DOGE cuts hit federal workers, yeah, right? Sam didn't walk away. He organized, he fought, he stood shoulder to shoulder with working people, because that is what real leaders do. Washington doesn't need another polished politician. Washington needs people who know what it means to work hard, to fight for others, to sit at the bargaining table, to stretch a paycheck, and to never forget who they serve. That, in a nutshell, is Sam Forstag. So tonight, I'm asking every union member, every retiree, every young worker, yes, young workers, I'm calling on you, and every woman who's ever had to fight twice as hard just to be heard, we want you to stand up. We need to get loud, we need to get organized, and let's remind this country of one simple truth. Billionaires didn't build Montana, workers did. And we are not done fighting yet. So let's send Sam Forstag to Congress. Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, my union sister, Sarah Nelson. Notice the scarf. Sarah is the president of the Association of Flight Attendants, CWA. It's the largest labor union representing flight attendants. Sarah?
I'm told to move this with 2 hands. Hey there, Missoula! I am so happy to be here. Flew from New York this morning, and what do you know? My flights were on time. So I'm a union flight attendant of 30 years. My name is Sarah Nelson. I represent 55,000 flight attendants at 20 different airlines. Many of them flying over us right now, raining down solidarity and cheering for Sam Forstag. So let me just tell you, when I started this job, on the very first day, there was a disagreement between the very senior flight attendants I was flying with of 35 years, okay? So imagine what they had seen, because we had to work really hard in our union to make sure that we could fight through all the discriminatory practices that kept women in their place in order to turn a job into a career. We had to even fight for men to have the same rights on the job. You're welcome, guys. So when I got to work that day, the women who were there to work that trip with me of 35 years had fought through the fact that they were told that they couldn't keep the job if they got married, if they grew older than age 32, if they got pregnant, if they gained more than 115 pounds. And in 1946, they negotiated the first seniority list to make sure that managers couldn't try to ask flight attendants to trade sex for schedules. It's only through our unions that I'm here today and that we're all here today to fight for Sam. So on that very first day, after this disagreement in the office with the supervisor, the union members won, by the way, they pulled me aside and they said that might have been a little bit much for somebody fresh out of company training on her first day. And so my flight partner pulled me aside and she said, listen, her voice was raspy because we had only just beat Big Tobacco and gotten them out of our workplace. She said, listen, management thinks of us as their wives or their mistresses, and in either case, they hold us in contempt. Woo, that was a lot at 23, fresh out of company training. Woo. But then then she said something I'll never forget. She said, your only place of worth is with your fellow flying partners. And if we stick together, there's nothing we can't accomplish. So I got involved in my union, and 5 years later, everything changed when September 11th happened. See, I was a Boston-based flight attendant, and I often worked United Flight 175. This is the flight that hit the South Tower of the World Trade Center, and you can picture it because all cameras were trained on that site, because American Airlines Flight 11 had hit the North Tower 17 minutes earlier. I know the exact moment that my friends, Amy and Michael, Amy, Catherine, Robert, Al, Alicia, Marianne, and Jesus lost their lives. I know that they made calls to the ground to tell our country what was happening, and I know that that word got to my friends on Flight 93, who knew in an instant that they had to pull together. They were white Americans and black Americans, Latino Americans, Native Americans, a gay rugby player fighting for marriage equality, a pregnant woman, and they were Democrats, Republicans, and independents. But in that moment, they were just Americans, and they fought together to fight like hell to try to save their lives, but definitely save the rest of ours and our U.S. Capitol. And in that same moment, what I learned later was that crisis capitalists were deciding that this was the moment that they were going to seize on this crisis to redefine the value of a pilot, a flight attendant, a mechanic, a ramper, a gate agent, to outsource the people working in the kitchens and taking the bags at the curb so that they can have low-wage jobs with no benefits at all. They were going to do what every other industry had done across our economy already, to try to make all of us work harder for less, to make us desperate for the work so that we will accept anything. That's what those crisis capitalists were trying to do right in that moment when we were grieving our friends and trying to make sense of this new world that we were in. That's what they were doing. That's what led to all of the bankruptcies in aviation that I went through then, where we fought like hell to try to hang on to our pay, our quality of life, our pensions, our health care. They took our pensions. They cut our pay. They made us work longer days. But we fought like hell. We saved retiree health care, and we made them double the amount they would pay in a pension replacement plan because we had our union. I got an up-close and personal experience with what that means to fight people who want to control everything. A year ago, I was here in Montana, and I talked about these people. The people that often will be called the rich and powerful, but let me let you in on a little secret. They have money, and right now, with that money, they have control. But they don't have power. We have the power! And when we exercise that power, we take back control and we take back our money and our time! So that's what we're going to do. When COVID hit, I was president of our union. You see, actually somebody said, how did you become president of your union? What did you do? How can I learn to do what you did? I said, well, actually, I just had a loud mouth and a strong sense of justice, and apparently that'll carry you real far. But I was president of our union, and I saw this crisis, and I thought, those corporate, greedy pieces of not really human beings are going to come for us again. They're going to try to use this crisis to take more from us than ever before. And so we told the industry, you're not going to get anything from the government unless you negotiate with us. And we made them, at 80% organized, have to negotiate with us and come to our plan for a workers' first plan. We got $54 billion from Congress to put into our paychecks. We said, you can't touch a penny of it. It has to go to our paychecks. You can't lay anyone off, and you can't cut anyone's pay. And we said on top of that, we're going to put a cap on your compensation and ban stock buybacks. And it was the only industry during COVID not to grow into inequality because unions set the agenda. Working people set the agenda. And Montana is a union state. And Montana can set the agenda for our country. That's what I see in Sam Forstag, because a year ago when I was here, I got to meet him for the first time. And I thought, well, gee, we only try to get off the airplane if there is a fire. We don't generally jump off the airplane into fires. This is pretty impressive. But then I watched his speech back and I thought what I think all of you who were there and saw it thought. We need Sam leading our country. I watched and then I learned a little bit more about him, about how he had learned what solidarity can do. It's a force stronger than gravity. Even if there's only a few of you, you can go up against what seems like the greatest force and you can win. We need that kind of heart in Washington, because I will tell you that when we were fighting for that payroll support program during COVID, there were people who told us, it'll never happen. You can't possibly do it. You're never going to get the Republicans. And we said, we're not giving up, and we're not backing down, and we're not going to go away until working people are taken care of. So I will tell you, we can set the agenda. We can fight for the things that people have been afraid to say because we have been led to believe that there's not enough left for us. But this is our world. And when I think about how we responded after 9/11 to pull together and to take care of each other, how we see people respond in any crisis when they come out of their cars and try to help people that they don't even know. When I see the people come to the door of my airplane with kindness in their heart and a desire for a safe, uneventful flight, it is the people on the evening news who are the minority, those of us who want to live a good life and want that for other people, are the majority. So if you want a good job with a living wage, a decent home, health care as a human right, a good education without a death sentence, the right to read and speak, the right to protest our government, and love the immigrants and Native Americans who have always made our country great. If you want a world where we can breathe the air and drink the water and hike, run and swim and ski in our parks, if you want to live in a time where all of us can live and grow and love, then we need to champion people like Sam Forstag for Congress. Right now, in this moment, the people in this crowd, if you believe that you want to make a difference, that you want to have that kind of life, then you need to make sure that people get out and vote for it. Those of you who are watching online right now and aren't here in Montana and can't physically drag someone to their polling place, then send in your money to help the rest of us get them there. just want to feel really, really good about knowing that you are sending someone there who knows what it means to stand out on someone else's picket line, who knows what it means to fight for someone who is going through hard times, who knows what it means to be up against all odds, even Mother Nature, and is willing to take that leap for all of us and for good, then let's fight like hell for Sam Forstag and build a better country. Let me just ask you something. In our union, we tell each other every single day, I've got your back. Can you help me tell Sam, we've got your back? We've got your back. We've got your back. We've got your back. We've got your back. Now here's another person who's got all of our backs and has gone up against the establishment and all of the power and has flown across the country just like me to be here with you today and to be here for Sam, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Reunited and it feels so good. It's so good to see you again, Missoula. Was anyone here at our Fight the Oligarchy rally last year? Do we have any newcomers here as well? Love to see it. We love to see it, hear it, welcome, and we're so, so excited, and thank you all for welcoming back to your beautiful, beautiful state. Thank you. You know, I have to say the first time that I landed in Missoula last year, it truly, as the plane was descending through the clouds, and we started to see that first break, and you see the sky, and you see the line, you know, the mountains for the first time, and the beautiful landscape of this state, it genuinely took my breath away. It took my breath away, and immediately when that happened and I looked out that window, I understood what people meant when they talked about Montana in other places. It's something that you just can't possibly understand until you have that experience and you're here. And it is sacred and it is beautiful. And so much of what you all have done here and your history here and the culture here can be explained by that 5-second break below the clouds. And the more I've spent here, the more I've realized that that landscape, as gorgeous as it is, isn't even the half of it. Because what makes Montana so special is the people here who refuse to let it go. Missoula, we were last here together a year ago. 7,500 people showed up in little old Missoula to fight the oligarchy. And what was so important and so special in that time was that we were showing that hope can exist anywhere, and that there isn't a single pocket in this country that should be written off when it comes to the people who are waking up and realizing that we, in this moment, are in the fight for our lives. We are. And it's why I'm here, and it's why we're all coming here together today. I'm very aware of the fact that I'm coming here as a New Yorker. And I know, understandably, that there's a lot of suspicion around a city girl, but I also think it's important for us to note that a lot of that is intended to divide us. Because what the folks and the big money don't want us to realize is that we're actually, and our struggles are far more common than our landscapes are different. You know, I was talking to Sam earlier today, and so many of us share similar issues and similar priorities. We want wages to be higher. We want our water to be clean. We don't want, you know, our water to be poisoned. We want to be able to work a job, one job, and have it afford a living and be able to support our kids and have a home and go on vacation and keep something in your pocket. And that's not too much to ask. It's really not. It's really not. And so I was talking to Sam because while all of those commonalities are so similar, I generally tend to ask, you know, what are some of the particular issues that are especially resonant in any one community? And Sam was talking to me about housing. And I was surprised as he went on and told me in great detail about how Montana is the #1 hardest hit and worst housing market in America. And I was shocked to hear that as a New Yorker. I said, what? He said, yeah, when you look at the average cost of housing pegged to the average wage and salary here, it's impossible. It's impossible. And what a lot of these folks that are dumping in tons of money in congressional races like these, what they don't understand, what they don't want us to see, is that the same forces that pushed my family out in New York City are the same forces that are pushing yours out here too. Our fight is far more united than people even understand. And you know, a lot of people write off places like Montana. They say that any race here is impossible. But last year when we came together, we saw thousands of people come together. And from all sorts of different backgrounds, all sorts of different stories. And whether we were in Utah or California or wherever we were, there were everyday people that started to raise their hand. You know, we're out in Utah. At that time, every single seat was drawn hopelessly red, or so they would say, right? But we came together and we rallied about it anyway, and I said, we come together because we must come together with the faith of a mustard seed. When we start working with one another, when we start building together, when we start watching each other's kids so the other can go out and organize the block, you never know what can happen. And a year later, a judge struck down Utah's redistricting, and now they have a blue seat in play. And it's really not even about blue or red or any of that. But this is really about people who are accountable to everyday working families, who don't take big money, but take your voice and your input and put that in the halls of power. Shortly after we left that rally, we flew here to Montana, to Missoula, and we had that rally of 7,500 people. And there was a young man that introduced me. He was a union man, a wildland firefighter, the son of a public school teacher, And that man's name was Sam Forstag. Now, we didn't know what was going to happen then. We were just a couple of folks getting together, talk about the issues of the day. But as it turns out, the momentum and the faith of coming together and organizing and refusing to give up created a window. And Sam decided to raise his hand and put his hat in the ring to run for Congress. Now, Sam has spent his life protecting this state and believes the people of Montana deserve a government that protects them too. Sam is a smoke jumper. And I had to learn what a smoke jumper was. As it turns out, it's one of the most dangerous jobs there is. I learned about how smoke jumpers parachute out of small planes into wildfires that other firefighters can't reach. And they work for days to keep the fire from reaching the next town. And let's talk about this, because that means something. Because when something is burning in this state, Sam runs towards the fire. That's the kind of person he is. And that's the kind of person we have the opportunity to send to Congress. Now, like a lot of people here, Sam knows what it's like to have your future and your life shaped by money or by not having enough of it. He knows what it's like to work 1,000 hours of overtime and still not have enough at the end of the month. After college, Sam dreamed of going to law school, but he looked at his student loan debt and realized that he couldn't afford it. And you know, that was the same story that I had experienced. I wanted to go to medical school, but my dad had passed away and my mom was a single mom, and I knew that my family couldn't afford for me to spend years out of the workforce, and that I needed to get to work right away. This is what it means to be a working person in not only Montana, but everywhere. And this is about all of us together. So, like so many of us, Sam went to work, showing up to help on what is often the worst day of someone's life. And between fire seasons, Sam never stopped showing up for Montanans. He worked as an organizer across this state. He went to Helena as an advocate at the state legislature and took on the politicians trying to ban books and gut public education and shut down rural libraries. And I gotta tell you, Montana, with what's going on, as we see with AI, they're trying to take the quality out of our public education too. And we have to make sure that there are protections for our communities and our families. When Elon Musk tried to gut the Forest Service and the public land agencies that kept this state running, Ryan Zinke didn't stand up for Montanans. But Sam did. As vice president of his union local, NFFE Local 60, we got some members in the house? Sam made sure Montanans knew exactly what was at stake. The firefighters who protect the towns, the rangers who keep our public lands open, and the wages and benefits of working people in every corner of this state. Through all of it, Sam saw what working people in this state are up against. He saw families putting in full weeks of work and still coming up short at the end of the month. He saw parents who couldn't find childcare they could afford or couldn't find childcare at all. And he saw private equity firms buying up mobile home parks across Montana and jacking up the rent on people who had nowhere else to go. And he saw who showed up when everything fell apart. Neighbors, public servants, unions, tenant organizations. Not the corporations who were busy denying the claims, but working people coming together to share what they had what they had so that the entire community could survive. And that is what I've learned is the spirit of Montana. And that's why Sam isn't taking a dime of corporate PAC money. Because Sam knows what happens when politicians start answering to corporations instead of the people they were sent to represent. And I understand the anxieties, especially when it comes to being able to afford a place to live and to feel like our ability to have one home is being eclipsed by other people's fourth, fifth, and sixth home. Now, there are some folks that would tell you, Montana, there's some folks that will tell you that's just the way it is. And that's just the free market. And that's just because that's the value of that property. But I want us to consider a different understanding of this. Because I really think that someone values their first home, their only home, a lot more than they value their 10th. A lot more. And I think the value of us not being one paycheck away from the street is way bigger than the marginal tax value of someone's write-off house that I'm sure some people even forget that they have. In terms of how wealthy some people are. And we have to make sure that everyone can just have a shot. That's what this is about. Sam also stands with the Montana Plan, the fight to get corporate money out of our elections. And Montana, you can do it. You can do it. We can pass the Montana Plan. We can join Hawaii. We can make sure that we set precedent in states across the country and tell Washington, D.C., if you don't kick money out of politics, we will here at home. It's a battle Montanans have been waging for over a century, and it's why this state wrote one of the most populous constitutions in the United States of America. We're coming home, Montana. Declaring more than 50 years ago that the rivers and streams belong to the people. That the air and the water must be protected. And that ordinary citizens are the foundation of our government, not anyone or anything else. Montana, it was you that etched those words into their constitution because you had to. You knew it way back then. You knew it. Because this place is a place this beautiful, you have known, has always drawn people who wanted to take from it without ever giving back. And in every generation, this state has had ordinary people here stand up and fight back. It was Montana that took on the railroads that carved up the state. It was Montana that fought mining companies that poisoned your rivers. And it was Montana that had the courage to hold the United States government accountable for the harm it caused our Native American brothers and sisters and the land that it took from them. That is Montana. Because the fight that shaped this state didn't disappear when the railroad stopped growing or when the robber barons lost their power back in that day and they just changed shape into this one today. The fight changed shape. It looks like what happened to the hospital in Big Fork, a community losing the care it depended on because somebody in a boardroom decided that Montanans weren't profitable enough and somebody in Washington decided to cut $1 trillion out of our healthcare system to match. And that is why Sam is fighting for Medicare for all. Because healthcare in this country should not be a luxury. luxury good. It should not depend on whether a hedge fund thinks your town or your life is worth saving. Every Montanan, every American deserves the dignity of health care as a right. Montana, your fight also looks like housing costs rising so high here, right here in Missoula, in Bozeman, and in the Flathead Valley that teachers and nurses can't even afford to live in the communities that they teach and serve. It looks like workers putting in overtime while the wealth they create leaves town on a private jet. That's the fight. And Sam Forstag has spent his whole life on the right side of it. And Montana, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something that we learned back in New York. Second homes can't vote. Third homes can't vote. Fourth homes can't vote. But your family, the 5 people in the only home, in the only house that you call home, y'all can vote. Y'all have a vote. So now the question before this state isn't whether we should send another politician to Washington. It's whether we will send someone who will fight, a working person who understands real life, that doesn't need to have it explained to them, but has actually had to make the dollars and cents work at the end of the month, that knows what it's like to jump into the fire, to put your life on the line, to see your family have to consider moving out of town. It is that proximity that gives us the urgency to change things, not one day, but now. Now. And Sam has been running toward that his whole life. Look around the room. You are the people who keep Montana running. You are the people who will make sure that these mountains and these rivers and these wide open skies are still here for the next generation. It is up to everyone in this room to make sure that years from now, when everyone in this country and when everyone else has that blessed experience of flying below that cloud line, that land is still there, and this place is a place that working people can still call home. And I know that you can do it. Sam is asking for the chance to take that fight to Washington. And I think he should have that chance. He is going to the fire the same way that he has gone to the fire here. But he cannot do it alone. The primary election is in 5 days. It's in 5 days. And our responsibility here is to help people believe. Because so often we are bargained down. We are taught to bargain down what is possible for our lives. We've been taught to lower our expectations for things that a generation ago were afforded to every American. It didn't feel like the fantasy that it sometimes feels today, 30, 40 years ago, to be able to have a job, one job, support your family, go on that vacation, and put some money in your pocket. But slowly over decades, there's been so much work to get the aspirations of working people smaller and smaller, and to see how little we are willing to accept. And this year, this time, this moment, today, is the moment we draw the line in the sand and say enough. Ask your skeptical neighbor to believe. It's the only thing that we have. Our hope is the only thing that creates change. And that's why so many people try to talk us out of it. That's why so many people try to deride it as naive, as out of touch. And cynicism gets sold to us as sophistication. I assure you it is not. I assure you it is not. What is very sophisticated is understanding full well the forces that are working against us and deciding to fight anyway. Montana, we're fighting for our kids. We're fighting for our houses. We're fighting for our water. We're fighting to have a government that belongs to us now. And we do that by electing Sam Forstag to Congress. Talk to every neighbor, make every call, knock every door, and let's elect this man to Congress. And I'm so excited to introduce him to you today. Sam, come on out.
I'm Sam Forstag, and I'm running to be your next congressperson here in Western Montana. Thank you, Congresswoman, for coming to Montana again and helping to bring the kind of hope that our politics has lacked for far too damn long. And thank you, Representative Running Wolf, for traveling all the way from Babb and for your decades of leadership on the fire line and at the state legislature. Thank you. Thank you to Aaron Foley for your work helping lead and fight for over 50,000 union members across Montana. And thank you to Jackie Help for your decades of work fighting for the workers who take care of the Montanans who need it the most. And we're getting there. We got a lot of supporters. I want to say thank you to Sarah Nelson for your work fighting for over 55,000 flight attendants who keep us safe in the skies. And for being such a voice of strength for unions across this country. And most importantly, thank you to all of you for showing up today and for the hope that you bring to show that we can still build a country that works for all of us. So who am I? Well, I can't say it nearly as good as these folks said it, but, well, I know what it's like to be the kid whose belly is full thanks to food stamps. I know what it's like to be the kid who has a safe place to go, thanks to the public library while my mom finished her extra shift as a nurse to provide for my little sister and I, to be the student at here in town working 3 jobs at a time and still come up short on money for rent or books sometimes. These are experiences that so many Montanans can relate to, and in a moment when the average congressperson is worth 15 times the average American, these are experiences that far too few of the people in power know what it is like. These are problems that far too little is being done to fix. And I spent the last 8 years working as a wildland firefighter and a smoke jumper, where I learned that even when it is just a few of you in a remote stretch of forest facing down a raging wildfire, normal people can do incredible things with hard work and experience and a little bit of hope. And I've worked as a leader in my union's local, where I saw how even when the richest man in the world tries to fire 360 Montanans in one day with no cause and no notice, we can fight back with solidarity and with organizing, and we can win. And between fire seasons, I've worked as an organizer and an advocate for groups like the ACLU, like Planned Parenthood of Montana, homeless shelters, and public libraries, to fight for the sorts of public services that I depended on as a kid and to defend the civil liberties that generations of Montanans have fought for before us, public services and basic freedoms that it falls to this generation of Montanans to fight for today. That's what we're here for. And just over a year ago today, when we were in the midst of an all-out attack on our public lands, on public servants, on the public services that working people in this state depend on, the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, decided that his obscene wealth was not enough. And he used, he decided to use the power that he had bought to carry out massive cuts under the guise of government efficiency. Over the course of that year, they would end up cutting just shy of a quarter of the Forest Service in this state, and most of the people that they fired were the lowest paid workers in our agency, the people making less than $20 an hour, swinging tools and conducting the science to keep our roads and trails clear and our air and water safe. And when I reached out to our supposed representative, Ryan Zinke, time and time again, I got crickets. So after a year of fighting those cuts with my union while fighting wildfires as a smoke jumper, I decided that if they're going to come after my coworkers and my union members' jobs, I'm going to come take his. And we are well on our way, because a few months ago, Ryan dropped out of this race, and he dropped out. He dropped out because he saw what was coming, and what was coming was all of us. So while Ryan was enriching himself at all of our expense, growing $20 million richer, while his state offices in Montana sat empty, while he went years without hosting a town hall in this state, some of the people who are here today, people like Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez and Sarah Nelson and leaders from across Montana, came together here in Missoula to make sure that working people and union members had a chance to speak for ourselves, and that is what we are doing here. So 2 Valentine's days ago, when they illegally fired those 360 Montanans in the Forest Service, we fought back. We organized rallies, we spoke out publicly, and we fought in court. And we stood with other unions who stood in solidarity with us. And early on, when some people said things like, they're not coming after us, they're just coming after the trails crews, or the rec crews, or the scientists, we talked about the fact that that is not how this shit works. Because when they come after one of us, they come after all of us. That is solidarity. Because that is what solidarity is about, because that is the only way that we stand up to the obscene amounts of money and power arrayed against working people in this country today, by standing together. Because working people's power has always been in our numbers. And whether it is the copper kings of Butte, or the billionaires and bot politicians who are trying to burn it all down so that they can buy it all up, when working people pull together, there is little that we cannot accomplish. So our enemy in this fight is not the working person on one side of you, wherever they are from, and however they choose to live their life. It is not the working person on the other side of you, whoever they voted for last year. Our enemy in this fight is the incredibly small slice of people growing incredibly rich off of all of these broken systems that we are stuck on the wrong side of, and using those riches to keep them broken. And in the last 6 months of this campaign, the last year and a half of fighting back, I have gotten the chance to meet a whole lot of Montanans who know what it is like to be stuck on the wrong side of those broken systems, but are not ready to give up on building a country where nobody has to go broke just trying to afford the basics. People like Kara. Kara was one of our union members, working just south of here on the Bitterroot National Forest 2 Valentine's days ago. 15 years in her federal service. 15 years into Kara's federal service, she got notice that she was being fired in one day with no cause and no notice while she was undergoing chemotherapy. That ain't right. That meant losing not just her job, but her health care. But Kara was not alone. Kara had her union. She had all of us. She had fellow Montanans ready to stand with her, and she had the courage and the hope to stand up and to fight back. And after months of fighting, Kara, along with the 360 other Forest Service employees who were illegally fired on Valentine's Day, were all offered their jobs back. And Kara is here today, cancer-free and back to work, protecting our public lands with a busy field season ahead of her. In the course of this campaign, I've had the chance to meet people like Cole in Kalispell. And Cole, he showed up in week one of this thing, and he told me that he never felt like he saw a place in the Democratic Party for himself. He said that he is making under $47,000 a year, and he doesn't know where he's supposed to send his 2-year-old daughter while he goes to work. In a state where the average child care cost is nearly $19,000 a year if you can make it through a waiting list. Cole knows that that ain't right. He said that he is excited to see a working person running for Congress to talk about real solutions for how we fix that. I've gotten to meet people in this campaign like Debbie at King Arthur Mobile Home Park in Bozeman. Debbie, that's right, Debbie has seen her mobile home lot rent nearly double since 2021 alone. That's not right. Eating up her Social Security check and threatening to price her out of the last affordable housing option that Debbie has. All because our representatives are too careless or callous to stand up to the corporations like those 19 private equity firms that now own nearly 2,000 mobile home parks across this country, across this state, buying out people's homes from underneath them. That ain't right. And when I spoke to Debbie, I hear you, Debbie. When I spoke to Debbie, she told me that when she was younger, when she was my age, if old people had to live like this, she would be so angry. And we should be so angry. But being angry is not enough. It never has been. So Debbie worked with her neighbors to organize a tenants union at their mobile home park, just like mobile homeowners across Missoula have done over the past year. And when the owners of King Arthur and Mountain Meadows mobile home parks sent out a notice that rents were going up by 11% over the previous year, they pulled together and they called for Montana's first rent strike in nearly 50 years. And they won concessions from the new ownership, and they showed that they would not just stand by while corporations tried to turn their housing into just another source of profit. That is what we can do together. So this campaign is about two basic notions. First, it is not too late to build a country, to build a future where every person can work one good job and afford a roof over their head, health coverage that actually gets you health care when you need it, and child care if you'd like to stick around this state and raise a family like I would without getting run out of town because you cannot afford it. And after all that, you should be able to afford a steady, safe retirement on the back end. And you know what? You ought to be able to have enough time to go recreate or hunt or fish or ski or climb on your public lands while you're at it. That is not too much to ask. And second, that the people we elect are the policies we get. That Congress should not just be a place for the rich and powerful, and if we want to fix these things, it cannot be. If we want to build a country that works for working people, we need to start sending working people to Congress so that we can fight for ourselves. Because we can afford large-scale investments in affordable housing and the reforms to make sure we can build that housing where we need it. We can afford to give the choice of free health care to every working-class person in this country through Medicare and to expand that program so it covers things like vision and hearing and dental, because that is what real health care coverage looks like. And to make sure that those reimbursement rates are high enough that no rural hospital is going out of business serving those patients. We can afford things like universal child care and pre-K with a living wage for every teacher and every staff member, because no Montanan should have to choose between going to work or having a safe place for your kid. And you know what? We can afford to do all of that without going further into debt and borrowing on our country's future, because all we got to do is reform our tax code to make sure that corporations and the richest people in this country carry their own damn weight, just like the rest of us. Because nobody making over $1 million a year should be paying a smaller share of their income than somebody making $60,000 or $80,000 bucks. And we can do all of this by coming together as Montanans to stand in our power against the corporations and billionaires who have sunk their claws into Congress, trying to buy up our representation just like the Copper Kings before them. Montana can lead the country again by fixing our broken system of campaign finance, starting right here and making sure that everybody in this room signs the petition for I-194 to make sure the Montana plan gets on the ballot. So that starting here, we can get corporate spending the hell out of our elections, because you know what? Corporations are not people, and they don't deserve a lick of say in who our candidates are and who makes it to Congress. So this campaign is about Kara, who shouldn't have to worry about losing her job or her health care because the millionaires in charge want to privatize our public lands. It is about Cole, who should not have to worry about where to send his daughter while he goes to work to provide for his family. This is about Debbie, who should not have to worry about holding on to her housing or affording the steady retirement that she deserves. This campaign is about the kids in this state and this country who deserve so much better than a government that cuts funding for food stamps or libraries or Medicaid so that we can pay for tax cuts for the richest people in this country and rain down chaos and cruelty overseas and wars that we don't want and atrocities that leave us all poorer in so many ways. This is about the fact that the American dream is not dead, that we are the people, humble, hungry, and mean. And we are not ready to give up on the dream of a government where we have a voice and a country that works for all of us. Because you know what? Here in Montana, we used to send leaders to Washington who swung above their weight class. Leaders like Jeanette Rankin, like Lee Metcalf. People like Mike Mansfield or Pat Williams, leaders who changed the way this country conceives of who can be a congressperson, who changed the way this country manages our public lands for the better, or leaders like Mike Mansfield or Pat Williams, who took their time living in Butte, their experience as a working person, and they took it to Washington and helped to create the programs of the Great Society, who helped to create programs like Medicare and Medicaid, NPR and PBS, the Endowment for the Arts. These are the programs that are under attack today. And it is past time for a new generation of Montanans to fight for and reimagine and build on those programs so that nobody's going broke. Affording the basics, we can do that. And since I am a smoke jumper, I was until 6 months ago, and I got a captive audience. I got to tell you one smoke jumper story. I probably jumped my last wildfire last summer because I had to leave the Forest Service. To run for this office, you can't be a federal employee, run for partisan public office. And my second to last wildfire that I had the privilege of jumping was in northern Washington. It was just outside of Wenatchee, overlooking the beautiful Enchantment Mountains. It is steep and rugged and beautiful country. And there was a lightning bust going on. So we had jumped 3 fires in 9 days. And when it is all initial attack, it is all long shifts. 16-plus hour days, swinging tools and running chainsaws to wrap those fires. And at the end of the third shift on that third fire, the sun is setting, it is 8 o'clock, and there's rain on the forecast for the next day. And so 5 out of 6 of us got together and we said, maybe we should break for camp. Maybe we should hike the hour back to where we're going to make a fire, and we should make some dinner because we were so tired and so hungry. And the jumper in charge on that fire, her name is Cameron. She is the first gal to make it through the rookie training program at the Alaska Smoke Jumper Base in over a decade. Well, Cameron got on the radio and she said, no, you're not. Because weather is not a firefighting tactic. And that was the most frustrating thing I could have possibly heard in that moment. But Cameron was right. Weather is not a firefighting tactic. And when rain is on the forecast, it does not always come. And so we did what Cameron said, not just because she's the jumper in charge, because she was correct. And we swung our tools and we ran our saws for another 3 hours. We made sure that that 5.5 acres was wrapped with 30 feet of saw cut all the way around it, with 18 inches to mineral soil for our hand line all the way around that thing, and that if the rains did not come, that fire was not going to jump our line. And right now, this moment feels a whole lot like that one. It feels like the rains are coming. It feels like there are a whole lot of people as I go around western Montana who are fed up, who are angry, who are seeing that the bill of goods that we were all sold, that they were sold, was nothing but another lie, and that our lives are not getting any more affordable. That we are in more endless wars that nobody wanted. That the people representing us are not representing our interests, but their own and those of corporations and the ultra-rich who fund their campaigns, and people are fed up. But if we want to win this election in a way that matters, if we want to win this in a way that brings people together into the coalition we used to have when we won as Democrats in this state, a coalition of working people and union members, of young people and people of all ages who still care about the Constitution and the future of this country, we've got to do something different. And that is what this campaign is about. Because weather is not a firefighting tactic, and if we want to change things in this country, we got to bring our own rain. We can do that. So it is just like when you were one of the first few people parachuting into a wildfire. Nobody else is coming to save us. It is up to us. Because we are the ones that we've been waiting for. Because come November, we're going to be up against a whole lot of money and a whole lot of power, but they're going to be up against all of us. And that's a whole lot more powerful. So I am asking for your vote on June 2nd, but not just that. I am asking you to tell your friends and family to do the same, to tell them that help is coming, that this is our chance to make our country work for us, and to help make sure that after June 2nd, we keep knocking every door, calling every phone, talking to every neighbor, and telling them that this is not just a campaign for working people, that this is a campaign of working people, and that we are ready to get to work building the country that we deserve. We can do this, friends. So I'll say it one more time, this campaign is not about me, it's about all of you and the hope that you bring. Thank you for bringing that tonight. Thank you for helping us win this thing. Thanks to all of you who came up to support. Let's win this thing.